today I'm telling you a story that doesn't just scare you for a moment. This one stays with you. The kind of story that makes you double, check your doors, your rides, the people you trust for even 5 minutes. This isn't fiction. This isn't a Netflix script. This actually happened. And the scariest part isn't just what he did, it's how easily he did it. His name is Wade Wilson. And before this story is over, you'll understand why people say some monsters don't hide in the dark, they walk right past you, smiling. Wade Stephen Wilson grew up in Florida. Normal streets. Normal neighborhoods. Nothing about his childhood screams horror movie. No obvious signs. No warning label. And that's what makes this worse. Because when people later asked, how did this happen? The answer wasn't clear. There was no single moment where everything broke. It was more like cracks forming slowly, quietly, until one day the whole thing collapsed. From a young age, Wade had a temper, not just anger, control issues. He hated being told no. He hated feeling small. He needed attention like oxygen. 8. Teachers noticed it. Other kids felt it. When Wade felt ignored or disrespected, he didn't walk away. He exploded. As he got older, the anger didn't fade. It sharpened. By his teenage years, Wade was already slipping into violence. Fights, threats, reckless behavior. He wasn't scared of consequences. Jail didn't scare him. Authority didn't scare him. In fact, 8. He seemed to enjoy pushing against it, like testing how far he could go before someone stopped him. Spoiler, nobody stopped him in time. As an adult, Wade bounced in and out of jail. Assault, battery, weapons, drugs. The record kept growing. Each arrest was louder than the last, like a warning siren nobody wanted to listen to. Judges gave chances. Systems failed. Wade walked free again and again, carrying more rage every time. People who knew him said the same thing later. He could flip fast. 1 minute laughing, joking, acting cool. The next minute, pure aggression, no empathy, no regret. And when he hurt people, it didn't weigh on him. It fueled him. By October 2019, Wade Wilson was a ticking bomb. That day started normal. No headlines. No breaking news. Just another Florida morning. Somewhere out there, 2 women were living their lives, not knowing they'd never see another sunset. The first was Christine Melton. Christine was 35 years old. A mother, a daughter, a real person with plans, stress, dreams, responsibilities. She wasn't looking for trouble. She wasn't living dangerously. 8. She did something most people do without thinking twice. She helped someone. She gave Wade Wilson a ride. That decision, that single moment of kindness, sealed her fate. Inside her home, something snapped. Wade attacked her. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't accidental. He strangled her with his hands. Think about that. The closeness, the time it takes, the pressure, the control. This wasn't rage alone, it was dominance. Christine fought. She suffered. And then she was gone. And Wade, he didn't break down. He didn't freeze. He didn't call for help. He took her car and left. That's the moment investigators later said chilled them the most. He didn't act like someone who made a horrible mistake. He acted like someone checking off a task. Driving away, music playing, daylight still out, Wade continued his day. Hours later, he crossed paths with his second victim, Diane Ruiz. Diane was 43 years old, a mother of 2. She was walking when Wade pulled up. She didn't know his name, didn't know his history. Didn't know she was getting into a car with a man who had already killed once that same day. She trusted him. Wade drove her to a secluded area. And there the violence returned, worse, colder, more brutal. He strangled her, left her, came back, then ran her over with the car. Again, 8. And again. Not because he had to. Because he wanted to be sure. That detail broke something in everyone who heard it. It showed this wasn't panic. This wasn't fear of getting caught. This was cruelty. This was someone who saw another human being as disposable. After killing Diane, Wade didn't collapse under guilt. He kept driving. Think about that. 2 women dead. 2 families destroyed. And he kept moving like it was nothing. Eventually, Wade committed another violent crime, a carjacking, and police caught up with him after a chase. When they arrested him, They expected chaos. They didn't get it. Wade was calm, almost relaxed. During questioning, he confessed. No tears, no shaking voice. He talked about the murders like he was describing errands. Matter of fact, detached, at times, almost casual. Detectives later said his lack of emotion was more disturbing than screaming would have been. When the public learned what happened, the reaction was immediate: fear, anger, disbelief. 2 women murdered in one day by the same man, both after acts of trust. And then the trial began. That's when Wade Wilson shocked the world again. In court, he didn't act scared. He didn't act broken. He smiled. He laughed. He stared straight at cameras. At times, he flirted with women in the courtroom. It was unreal. People watching felt sick. This man was facing life or death, and he was enjoying the spotlight. 8. It was like the courtroom had become his stage, and he was soaking up every second of attention. Psych experts testified that Wade showed clear signs of antisocial personality disorder. No empathy, no remorse, no emotional connection to the pain he caused. He understood what he did, he just didn't care. Prosecutors laid everything out. Surveillance footage, DNA, confessions, autopsy reports. The jury saw exactly how violent, how calculated, how cruel these murders were. The defense tried to blame drugs, mental health, bad choices. The jury wasn't buying it. What sealed it was the pattern, the escalation, the overkill, the way Wade carried on afterward. The way he behaved in court like this was entertainment. When the victim's family spoke, the room changed. Mothers cried. Children spoke about growing up without their moms, birthdays that would never happen, phone calls that would never come. And Wade sat there, still, quiet, sometimes smiling. That image burned into the public's memory. In the end, the jury recommended death. The judge agreed. Wade Wilson was sentenced to death in Florida. No dramatic reaction, no breakdown, just another small smile. Since then, the case has taken a dark turn online. Clips of Wade in court went viral. TikTok edits. 8. Comment sections filled with people calling him attractive, mysterious, misunderstood. That reaction sparked outrage, because behind the filters and edits are 2 real women who never came home. 2 families living with permanent loss, and a killer who still feeds off attention. That's the final horror of this story. Not just the murders, 8, but the way society sometimes forgets the victims and fixates on the monster. Wade Wilson sits on death row now, alone. Separated from the world he tried to control. The attention will fade. The cameras will leave, and all that will remain are the lives he destroyed. Christine Melton, Diane Ruse. They weren't characters in a crime story. They were real. And they deserved better. 8. And that's the truth people should remember when they hear this name.